Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 4 different tiers of on-site hotels at Universal Orlando Resort, the perks that come with each of the hotels, and we're going to talk about when we think it makes sense to stay at each of the different tiers. If you're new here, on this channel we talk about all things Halloween, Harry Potter, and theme parks. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Okay, so when you're booking a vacation, the first thing you gotta do, you gotta find a place to stay. And if you're anything like us, the first thing you look at is, how much is it? Like, how much is this gonna cost me? Then you might start comparing prices and locations. Then sometimes people make mistakes. Like, you let somebody else try to save some money on your next vacation. And when you wind up at your destination, you don't really have anywhere to stay. And then you get price gouged because you're booking last minute. We don't want you making the same mistakes that we've made. We've made several. Many. However you want to put it. We've made them all. So what we have learned is that it is just best to stay on property when you're booking your next Universal vacation.
Universal Orlando Resort has 8 on-site properties that fall into 4 different tiers. The first tier is the value tier, which includes Universal's Endless Summer, Surfside Inn & Suites, and Dockside Inn & Suites. The next tier is the prime value tier, which includes Adventura and Cabana Bay. The third tier is the preferred tier, which only includes Sapphire Falls. And the last tier is the premier tier, which includes Royal Pacific, Hard Rock, and Lowe's Portofino Bay. Obviously, if you've looked at booking a trip to Universal, the different tiers of hotels can differ substantially in price. So what are you getting with that extra money that you're paying for the different hotel tiers? We're going to break down the benefits that come with each hotel tier and when we think it makes sense to book a trip at that hotel. The value hotels, which include Dockside Inn & Suites and Surfside Inn & Suites, come with early park admission, room key charging privileges, bus transportation to the parks, and getting your merchandise that you purchase in the parks back to your hotel room.
Which, believe it or not, is a lifesaver sometimes. Yeah. You see the souvenir, you want it, but you don't want to carry it around all day, or maybe it's a big thing and you don't want to have to rent a locker. Just tell them to send it back to your room and it's there like the next day. So when does it make sense to stay at a value hotel? This is your most budget-friendly option, and the price per night is generally extremely competitive with any other like standard hotel. We have paid more to stay off-site versus this one, and you don't get the benefits such as early park admission or the free transportation to and from the parks. It's a no-brainer, really. So plain and simple, if you're trying to have an amazing vacation but save as much money as possible, you should really consider looking at the value hotels.
The next tier of hotels is the prime value tier, which includes Adventura and Cabana Bay. So this tier of hotels gets everything that the value hotels gets, plus there's a walking trail which takes you straight into City Walk right by the entrance to both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios. So another sort of benefit that you get with these prime value hotels is that they're a little bit nicer than the value hotels. We have stayed at both Surfside Inn & Suites and Cabana Bay, and Cabana Bay is a very nice hotel.
We really liked Cabana Bay. It's a lot of fun. Like, we stayed down there during the pandemic, and we had a blast. So I can't imagine what it's like when it's like booming down there, like when it's just crowded. I think that a resort would be a lot of fun. Like, we talked about it. That's one of those places that we could just go and stay without going to the parks.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a little bit nicer hotel experience and you want that convenience of being able to walk to the parks, we think that the prime value hotels are really great for that, because if you do take the bus transportation to the parks, it does drop you off outside of like the City Walk front gates, and then you get mixed in with the entire crowd that is
Like day crowd
staying
and stuff.
off-site. Right.
Yeah, and so it just basically when it makes sense to stay here is when you just want to have a little bit nicer amenities and more convenience. Like save a little bit of time because you don't have to worry about the security or waiting for a bus transfer. That's pretty much it.
The next tier of hotels is the preferred tier, which includes Sapphire Falls.
Yeah.
So Sapphire Falls gets all of the amenities that the Prime Value hotels gets, plus there is a water taxi to get you from Sapphire Falls to City Walk.
We can't stress enough, the water taxi is amazing. So when you go like we go and you just walk, what comes to mind is like Halloween Horror Nights and events like that where you're on your feet, 17, 18 hours sometimes. I think our last trip, we had a day where we did like 40,000 steps. Guess what you don't want to do at the end of the day? And that's walk back to your hotel. You want to get on a boat and have them drive you there. It's so convenient. I love the water taxi. And the people who drive them,
They're awesome.
you have so much fun with them.
Yeah.
I think this is like one of the biggest step ups, like the perk. It's incredible. So when does it make sense to stay at this level of hotel? Well, this will make more sense here in a minute. But when you want to have all the convenience, but you're not exactly interested in riding rides over and over during your stay. Like if you're one of those people who goes to the park and just likes to people watch or likes to like take in all the shows, or you're not gonna ride, 30 rides during a day, this is your best value, and it is an absolutely gorgeous resort.
And the top tier of hotels at Universal is the Premier tier. And this includes Royal Pacific, Hard Rock Hotel, and Portofino Bay. As you can tell, Tyler cheered for Hard Rock. That's our favorite.
We really love Hard Rock.
So with the Premier tier hotels, you get all of the benefits we've previously talked about. Plus, you get preferred seating at some of the dining areas. This is one that I actually was unaware of.
Yeah.
But you can flash your room card at some of the restaurants, and you'll get put at the front of the line.
Yeah.
And then the big one that everybody loves is the free unlimited express pass for everyone that is in your room.
So like I alluded to earlier, the preferred tier, if you're not into riding rides, there's no sense in paying the difference in price because you're really not missing out on much. And it is a pretty significant price jump. I mean, like sometimes it's a couple $100s a night maybe. But if you do want to ride some rides, you want to ride them often, you want to ride them as much as you can. Once again, if you want to just show your wife how good you are at Men in Black, I would choose a Premier hotel. But seriously, the Premier hotels can save you, thousands of dollars on a vacation. They really can. We actually just did a video sort of talking about that. We'll put a link right here. But we always stay at a Premier hotel generally. The only times that we don't are if, like, we're flying in really late and then we'll just book one night at generally like a value hotel, and then we move over to the Premier hotels so we can get that express pass and make the most of our vacation. So on top of that, all of these hotels are really close, like they're within walking distance. I think that's one reason we like Hard Rock so much is because of how close it is. It's like a 3 or 4 minute walk to the entrance of Universal Studios. And at events like Halloween Horror Nights, the water taxis can get pretty busy. Like sometimes you're waiting on them for 30, 40 minutes. Like it just, they get backed up. You don't feel like doing that at the end of a long day. And if it's not a very long walk, that's your best bet. That's why we always like to stay at the Hard Rock. But like we said in this video, it all depends on what you're trying to get out of your vacation. Alright guys, so I guess that concludes today's video. Let us know in the comment section down below which hotel at Universal Orlando is your favorite.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. You can hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so you get an alert every time we post a new video.
Thanks for watching.